this interior setup is concerning. And I've met all of them. I've had the pleasure of meeting all of these girls. So it's interesting to like know them post filming and now go back to see kind of how this all went together.
Hi, welcome to Above Deck, a Below Deck breakdown podcast. I'm Sarah Goldman, a photographer living in Charleston. With me is my college roommate and co-host, Kelli.
I'm Kelli Busby, an executive assistant and former radio host, coming to you from my home studio in Columbus, Ohio. Together, Sarah and I hosted the Socks with Sandals radio show on WFAL in Bowling Green, Ohio, and we are back again this week to discuss Below Deck and our love of all things Bravo.
So at the beginning of this episode, we talked to Alex Propson from Sailing Yacht Season 4. Yes. So before we get into the Traitors and this week's Sailing Yacht episode, we're going to share with you our chat that we had with Alex. So please enjoy that chat. Hey, Alex.
Alex!
Hey, ladies.
Can you hear me? We can hear you.
Okay, I'm doing so good. How are you guys?
Good. I'm good.
Am I just dropping in? Are we already going and I'm just jumping in?
Yeah, no, we're already recording, but we're not like really going.
Okay, I was like, oh, fuck, was I supposed to announce myself or something?
we'll introduce you, but
just pow, he's in there.
Hang on, hold on just a second, I'll be right back.
Okay, all right, bye.
Happy National Chase Day.
I know, yeah, it's Chase's birthday today.
Yeah.
Happy Chase Day. I'm sad that he's by himself. I hope he felt all the love from everybody, though.
Yeah, I talked to him for like an hour last night.
Oh, good.
He's good. He's got so much shit to focus on. You got your Charleston winter hat on?
No,
she's in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh,
it is like 2 degrees, maybe 1. I don't know. It's cold. Yeah.
It's real cold. I'm in Virginia, so I'm not too far.
Oh, you're in Virginia?
I'm right in the middle of both of you, yeah.
Okay, so do you guys have snow right now?
Thank goodness, no. No, we had rain, but I've heard that there's going to be like some kind of winter storm thing coming from Ohio down to smash us. So,
okay.
Thanks for that. Thank you for that, Ohio.
Hey.
Nice.
We won a national championship last night. Now we're going to send you some snow.
I love that. I love that.
Happy Valentine's Day.
It's not Valentine's Day. Don't put that on me yet.
It's Chase's birthday, Kelli. It's Chase's
I'm sorry.
Birthday.
Happy Chase's birthday day.
Yes, and to you and to everyone who celebrates at home.
That's right.
I always miss you guys everywhere I'm going. You guys, it's like literally ships passing in the night. I try to catch you guys in Florida. I try to catch you guys in Charleston. I try to, or maybe it's my lack of trying. That's the issue. I don't totally know whose fault this is.
How hard it would be to meet up in Fort Lauderdale. That was like, that boat show was so big.
It was crazy.
It was hard to get around.
The biggest, yeah.
And
I did see you guys at BravoCon though, right?
Yeah, we saw you at BravoCon. You had just done that like 360 photo thing, and we were like, Alex!
Okay.
And your handler was kind of looking at us like, do I need to step in here?
That week was a blur, man. Yeah. that was non-sober Alex and a whole lot of attention being pulled in a million different directions. So I do remember seeing you guys though. I think it was like one of the last days too.
Maybe, I don't know. The days kind of blur together for us too.
Yeah. Tell me about it. And that was that was a year ago, I guess. A year and
2023.
Yeah,
fall. They didn't do
Can you believe it's coming up on what, 2 or 3 years since Below Deck Sailing?
Since you were on? Since your season?
Yeah. Well, since we filmed it, I guess.
Oh, okay.
So there's been a lot of replays on lately. So I'm catching a lot of the old clips that like people are sending me. And yeah, I have to remind them. I'm like, wow, that was Alex 3 years ago. That just seems so distant. Yeah. There's a lot of change.
I think people forget that too. Like, it's not like you guys were just gone last weekend and shot. It was years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. I still
Yeah.
get people that'll message me like upset about things because they just saw it for the first time or something.
Yeah.
So they're still kind of like, they're just like, wow, that Gary. And I'm like, yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah, that was rough.
Wild, yeah. Or they're like, I can't believe Danielle at Winter House, and I'm like, yeah, crazy, right? Like I'm just like that happened 2 years ago, but yeah, that's really crazy.
Yeah.
So
That's
anyhow,
so funny. And they're so passionate about it.
so passionate, which
Yeah.
I respect passion in any form. I hope to be that passionate about many things in my life. But even when I was doing it, I didn't feel that level of passion. I didn't realize what an impact that would all have. So
Yeah, for sure. Do people
Trying
still
to-
recognize you from the shows?
yeah, occasionally, like in Fort Lauderdale and at the airport and stuff, I'll run into people, or in New York, oftentimes when I'm up there doing
Yeah.
whatever I do in New York, I'll run into people, and but yeah, I tie my hair back a lot now, which keeps me pretty inconspicuous.
Yeah, that
So-
hair is a dead giveaway.
Yeah, exactly. You only see that in Maine, in so many places. So I'd say it's a significant difference with hair up and down. But
Interesting.
I'm blessed to find out that anybody remembers or watches or has some
Yeah.
kind of favorite scene. Anytime somebody mentions it, I'm like, oh, cool.
Do people always bring up putting the water bottle on Glenn's head in the middle of the night?
Eternally, yeah. And which is great. I just watched that video again too recently because it was on my
So
TikTok or something. Oh, what
funny.
it was is from the current season. Davide has those scenes with Captain Glenn. So
Yeah.
they had like a stitched together like side by side
gosh.
Captain Glenn's roommates. Yeah, and it was my scene with the water bottle and Davide falling on him naked, and
Yeah.
that was kind of funny. I don't know which is worse. Well, I know which was worse to me, but I don't.
Yeah, who do you think was a better roommate for Captain Glenn, you or Davide?
I think me. I mean, the fun thing about me and Glenn is we exchanged like 7 words maybe the entire time we were roommates. It wasn't like I was in there disturbing the peace. I thought I was being pretty sly getting into bed sometimes, but
Yeah.
I don't think I ever fell on him. It was just the one water bottle incident, and he woke me up, I think, more than I woke him up. probably.
Yeah, he's like, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah,
my guy.
he's kind of a loud sleeper. But
What's going on?
Yeah, good
Did
roommate.
you ever
though.
walk in and,
would,
like,
would
while
be
he was-
down again?
Did you ever see him like watching his TV shows
His telenovelas? We don't know if he's really
Yeah.
watching those.
or
But
Discovery Channel?
Look, I catch the audio that they like put over those things, and
Yeah.
I don't know if it's exactly that. I think they might be doing him dirty, but it's not far off. He likes a lot of just like one-off strange things, and that's why like sometimes when you're talking to him, we'll get into conversations. Me and him were talking about some real like trippy shit. We'd get into conversations about like quantum physics and UFOs and string theory and stuff, and the other people would be walking by and they'd be like, what the what are you guys talking about? Like, what, how did we even get here? So he just knows. He's one of those guys that knows a lot of things about a lot of things, and I like those people, so I usually try to get him
has a lot
going
of
as much as I
interest.
can.
Yeah.
That's so
100%, the best kind of people.
Well, are you totally caught up on this season of Sailing Yacht?
Yes, yeah. We're officially like recording now too, so we can.
Yeah.
talk?
I mean,
Okay.
I don't. I
You
feel
guys
like we
stitch
don't
this
need to
together?
do an intro, Kelly. Do you want to do?
No, we're good.
Okay.
We're good.
We'll insert some kind of intro later,
Okay.
but
I've been doing a lot of podcasts lately. Everybody kind of has their own structure to
style.
it. So
Yeah.
yeah. And if there's anything you want cut out, just let us know. Even if you think of it later tonight or something, just let us know.
Oh no, I'm an open book. I'm good with all topics. I always think about that before I agree to these things. I'm like, is there anything that I shouldn't touch on? But I have pretty much all exciting things going on right now.
Okay,
So
cool.
yeah, projects and Naughty Fit and We can talk personal life. We can talk season 5 of sailing. We can talk chase. We can talk all that shit. So let it
Okay.
rip.
Sounds
Come at
good.
me. Get me talking. I had a lot of caffeine today.
Awesome. Well, do you have any general thoughts about this season or any like hot takes about anything that's happened or like stew drama? Is Gary what you expected, how he would be? Do you think he's any better this season?
Yeah, so I just caught up, actually. I just caught
Hmm.
up. I was behind a few weeks, but I just caught up the other night. And I mean, first things first, Gary is Gary. So
Hmm.
there's, I know him. I know who he is,
Hmm.
and it doesn't change. And that's one of the most endearing things about Gary, in my opinion, is you know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
The guy isn't exactly consistent moment to moment, but you do know, wears his heart on his sleeve. So
Yeah.
I don't think much has changed, and I don't know if it ever will. It's old dog, new tricks type of thing. So
Yeah.
he seems to be in pretty much the same place
Yeah.
as the last time I saw him, which was in on Parsifal was the last time I've seen him, and the last time I was even in the same room was the reunion, which was a Zoom room.
Oh, that's
So I
right.
I
Yeah.
don't.
That's the last reunion we had, I think, of any Below Deck in a while. It was much needed that season.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, yeah. So Gary's Gary. Thoughts? I think. I mean, I'm entertained by the season. I don't think there's because
same.
maybe it's because I know the people. So for me, I'm
Hmm.
like, okay, this is fun to watch. But I think there's a different energy a little bit to this season. There seems to be
Hmm.
a lot of strategy and devious behavior and talking
Hmm.
behind people's back and stuff like that. And I felt
Hmm.
like with our season, for the most part, we all got along really,
Yeah,
really
you
well.
guys all got along great,
We were all friends, and
generally.
we all loved our nights out, and we
Hmm.
had just would be laughing and having such a good time. Um, so I think Daisy's having kind of the Chase knows how to handle Gary, and Keith seems like the most laid back guy in the world. So I
Oh
don't think
yeah.
there's any
Yeah.
issues there. But this interior setup is concerning, and I've met all of them. I've had the pleasure of meeting all of these girls.
Hmm.
So it's interesting to like know them post filming, and
Yeah.
now go back to see kind of how this all went together.
Yeah, that's been interesting for us too.
Yeah.
So I know you've been in Charleston a couple times this past year. Did you have a good time? I know you had a really good time one night because we were supposed to get bagels one morning and Chase
Here
was
we
like,
go.
"We drank too much, not gonna make it." And
Here we go. Yeah, we had a night, and it was an accidental night. So for
Those
the
are the
most
best
part,
nights.
yeah. Well, Captain Kathleen was involved, so her hands are far from clean on this
yeah,
evening. But yeah. So I don't drink much anymore, man. It's like
yeah.
maybe a quarterly night out or something. It usually
Hmm.
has to do with whenever I see, you know,
Old
Chase. We
friends,
usually
yeah.
get together, and then our feet touch the ground and chaos ensues. But so that was pretty much what that was. I had been working all day, and I was on meetings all day, and then we went and got dinner, and Kathleen was nearby. I don't even know where we were.
I
But it
know where
turned
you were. I think you were at Burns Alley downtown, maybe. Well, you might have been more than one place, but
Yeah, definitely. There an alley sounds about like the right location for
you're
me.
in an
So
alley.
that sounds geographically that sounds pretty accurate.
Okay.
So yeah, it was a fun night. I had a really good time in Charleston. I was there one weekend, which was that first weekend, and then me and Chase went down for the boat show, and then I was down in Florida,
Right.
and then I came back to Charleston because my car was there, and his family convinced me to stay for his brother's wedding that following
Oh,
weekend.
fun.
So then I spent the whole weekend with the Lamax crew and got to see a little bit more of the city. And I ended up meeting up with some of the Southern hospitality people, and that was a good time.
Yeah.
Stopped in at Sewing Down South, and took a selfie with
Ni-
with Craig's statue, and
Nice.
yeah, so I did the Bravo tour. There's a lot of Bravo fans in
Yes.
Charleston. I didn't realize it was like maybe because I've never seen those other shows, but I had no idea that that all of that was going on. Beautiful
Yeah.
city.
It's really become quite the hub of Bravo, which I love because I live here. It's perfect for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, who'd have thought too? Like I don't
I know it's
like
so random. Well, we can thank
kind
Leva
of.
for opening all her places, and we can thank Whitney, I guess, for bringing Southern Charm here. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun. I mean,
Don't
Charleston.
ask me about those shows because
Okay, okay, I won't.
Fair enough.
don't embarrass me like that.
Okay, so
Don't put me on the spot.
we touched a little bit on BravoCon. BravoCon is for us as fans, it's like our favorite weekend of the year. It seems like the Bravo celebrities feel the same way. Like, do you guys have the best time ever?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, that was like right when our show was out too. So
Yeah, good timing.
it was good timing. Things were chaotic, so it was like, fuck it, why not? Let's go to Vegas for a week. Like it was the perfect storm kind of for me. But I really I mean, you just get there and the energy is so high, and like on the plane, people are in their matching, outfits, and then, I land, and then they got to come grab me right away because there's people that are so excited. And I think I was 3 feet off the plane, and I was, taking pictures with people and
Yeah.
saying hi and talking about Winter House. And it was, you feel really important. And I think for me, the impact was realizing how many people that this stuff reaches,
Yeah.
and you think of it as just kind of like a silly drunk experience, but it means a lot to a lot of people. And I think that BravoCon really changed my perspective on everything I was doing. It went from like, fuck it, why not? Let's do TV to like, no, you have a platform and a responsibility to represent yourself and
Yeah.
your ideas on things well. And the more authentic you are about that, the more you can connect with these people. So for me, it was a game. It was kind of a pivoting moment for me. It was like, okay, I understand what I'm doing now. Whereas before I hadn't watched a Bravo show. I didn't know much about it. And it was just
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah. It's pretty special because you don't see like I don't know, PBS having a like their own version of BravoCon or ABC or Fox. Like it's pretty special that like that group of people can all come together, like the fans, the Bravo celebrities, the producers, the everybody. It's very special.
Totally, yeah. I think that the network as a whole and Andy, I think they just have a pretty, at this point, good idea of what the fan base values and cares about, and they can really cater to that, and they're pretty spot on all the time. Like, yes, it's like over the top, and it's like gaudy, and it's Vegas, and that stage setup they had for the and that main night, and like all of the flapper girls and like and
was
all of that
great.
stuff was so over the top.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's exactly what the Bravo fans love, and that's exactly what we kind of are, is over the top. I don't fancy myself that way, but the productions and everything are very like loud and boisterous. So
Yeah.
it's I think they've got it pretty dialed in. It was something I think we missed this last year for sure. It was like
Yeah. Yeah,
it was
for sure.
Did you guys do the Miami one?
No, and we have big regrets about it.
Okay.
We thought it was not going to be a very big deal, but it seems like it was just a little mini BravoCon, so we did the boat show instead.
Okay, I got you. What about the Miami boat show? That's coming up too. That's in February.
We have no plans to do that, but we already have our hotel booked for BravoCon for November, so
Okay.
we'll be there.
We've had
Well,
that book
damn.
for a while, haven't we?
A long time, maybe
was like last summer.
last year or something.
Well,
Yeah.
pending an invitation, maybe let me crash on the couch or something. I don't know what the plans are for 2025.
Can do. I hope that Chase will get an invite to come. I want him to have that experience. I know he was disappointed they didn't have BravoCon last year. So yeah, I want that for him. I want him to experience it.
Yeah,
So
well, this
fun.
would be his year, right? Because he's
Yeah.
kind of like multiple seasons as of right now, and it's exciting. I don't know what's gonna happen with television. Truthfully haven't thought about it. I've been so freaking busy with everything else I'm working on, but I get fired up about it because I love making TV, and
Yeah.
I love the experience. I love the people I meet. I've loved every opportunity I've had, and I think there's a lot of people who don't have that to say when they do this, and that kind of bums me out because I'm like, everything I've done in television and with Bravo and the network has been so, I guess, I've learned so much about myself through it.
Yeah.
And it's been such like an enriching experience, maybe is kind of what I mean to say.
Yeah,
It's
you're
just
right.
like,
Not everybody has that experience, so I'm glad that
not everybody
is
does.
yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But it's just been so great.
speaking of TV shows, what is this new TV show that you're going to be on where you're playing a rock star?
Okay. Yeah. So I tried my hand at acting a little bit, and never really, that wasn't on the bingo card, as the Gen Zers say. But I have right now, in the same week, I have that coming out, which is, it's a vertical series. So a vertical series is like a series of like 3-minute episodes that they post as reels, basically. But it's
Oh.
like a whole
Okay.
season of a show.
Interesting.
And it's they're growing in popularity because people watch a lot of stuff on their phones, but they're
Yeah.
basically like these almost novellas, they're like these little soap operas that you watch on your phone. So I had an opportunity to go and film that this last fall in Istanbul. It was filmed.
Oh, wow.
So
Cool.
if you saw my stories, that's why I was randomly in Turkey. Like I was in LA, and then like the next day I posted that I was in Istanbul, and everybody's like, "What the fuck's going on?"
What are you doing?
So yeah, my agent booked me that job, and it's kind of like, it's another thing that I realized. I just really love using the creative side of my brain, and I didn't think in that aspect that would really be for me, but that's coming out on an app called Drama Pops. So I'll plug them. It's a private company, and there's going to be clips all over their Instagram and shared and stuff. But it's, if you're
Awesome.
into cheesy, romance novel type of drama, that is exactly what it is.
Well,
And
I
I play a
can't
drunk
believe-
rock star. So casting, hello, that worked out. That worked out really well. I think
Yeah.
they did a great job.
Well, we'll definitely watch for you. So, and we'll put a link in the show notes so people know how to find it.
Oh, so fun. Yeah, I just had a movie come out too. So I also filmed a feature-length film right before BravoCon was when we filmed
Okay.
it, and I play a vampire. And this is a friend of mine, Adam Baronello. He's an artist who lives in the Hamptons in New York.
Cool.
So he's done mostly short films up to this point, and this is one of his first feature-length films, which is like a spin and adaptation on classic vampire movies. So I play like a vampire who's depressed that he can't die, basically, and it's a kind of a cool little story about
Cool.
how eternal love and how humans communicate and how that's changed by the fact that we can't die. So it's kind of a cool little movie. I actually haven't seen the whole thing yet, but that came out just this last weekend. So
Oh,
that's on
awesome.
YouTube.
Okay.
That's called Night by Adam Baronello, and that's on YouTube right now. So that one I have a link for.
Okay, cool. Definitely checking that out. I bet you are like a super hot vampire.
Yeah, well, it's his like style. It's very raw. It's very artistic. It's very you remember that horror movie where they're in the woods and it was shot on like night vision, Blair Witch Project.
Oh, Blair Witch.
Oh,
Project.
yeah.
So it's like that, where it's like shot on a cam, like it looks like it's a camcorder almost. So like
Okay.
it's a very cool piece of art. So that one I'm more excited about. That one actually has some creativity in it. The other one's kind of just me being schmoozy. So they're both
We'll check
for whatever. Yeah, both two different crowds.
Something for
but
everybody.
Something for everybody. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, tell us about Naughty Fit, your training company, and like how that works. It's January, so people are kind of like new year, new me. So this is kind of a good time to look into a new workout situation. So how's that work?
Totally. Yeah. Thanks for asking. Yeah. So Naughty Fit kind of. So I used to work as a trainer. So prior to getting into yachting and prior to getting into all of the things that I've all the hats I've tried on in my 20s, I was working as a trainer in person at a gym in the Midwest where I was from. And when I got done with the shows and I was like in between things and I was like, well, what do I do now? Where do I go from here? I have these people that watch everything I do every day, and after BravoCon, I was like, I'd like to give the people that follow me and the people that listen to what I'm saying, I'd like to give them something that they can actually use in their day-to-day life. So I kind of did this diagram where I was like, what am I good at? And what can I make a living doing? And what helps other people? And then right in the middle, I kind of came full circle back to fitness. So it's been really cool. And it's a fully online training program. It's built out now. And I mainly work with women, actually. And it's fitness, but it's a lot about just habits and routines and mindsets and things that help us get out of sometimes cycles that cause us suffering that's not necessary. So I'm on a mission to battle human suffering, and unfortunately we create a lot of that ourselves. So it kind of starts at home and taking care of that first. So it's cool stuff. I was blessed to work with hundreds of women this last year, and men tied in, on building better bodies and healthier minds and healthier habits. And this year I've got some ambitious goals to help more and more people, and it's off to a really good start. So you can find more info about that pretty much through my Instagram. But yeah, if fitness and mindset and philosophy are things that people are interested in, it's all of that. And those are things that have transformed my life in the last few years, and I'm really just trying to share that process. So it's been amazing.
That's
Cool.
awesome.
I'm so glad. I can tell that it makes you so happy, and I love
Yeah.
watching your workout videos, even the ones that are like 45 minutes long that are like just you working out late at night at the gym.
Yeah.
I remember commented on one and you were like, you watched all like hour and a half of that. And I was like, yeah, what's the problem?
Yeah, it was just a live workout session.
Yeah.
But when I'm doing those, I'm just talking, and every once in a while there's a
Yeah.
nugget in there that you can pull out. But
Totally.
you're probably one of the only people that watched the full 45 minute, the whole 45-minute workout. Sarah, I mean, in 45 minutes we probably could have just gone and worked out. So
Yeah, we totally
call
could
me.
have. In fact, if you
Call
want
me
to, I do
next
have some
time.
guest passes for my gym if you want to come with me to Gold's Gym while you're in Charleston next time.
I would
We
love
can go
that.
and do
I
that.
would love that, and I'm very happy to. But I appreciate you guys watching and supporting. It's been a journey, because not only is it it requires a lot of me, which is good, which is really good, because it keeps me accountable, and but it's been a really incredible year about learning how to start and run a business, and
Oh, yeah.
responsibly and well in the 21st century. So, and the pitfalls that come with that, it's a lot of ups and it's a lot of downs, and
Yeah.
managing other people's ups and downs. So it's a cool thing. It's been a blessing on my life. So, and hopefully on countless others.
I'm so glad. It looks like we might have lost Kelly, but that's okay. She'll
Come back, Kelly. Yeah, her internet
Kelly,
is
come back.
snowstorming.
Yeah, I think so. She said when it gets really, really cold, like down in single digits, like something happens with her internet. It was going on when we talked to Chase, and there was like a 5 second delay, so it was so painful.
That's
Chase would be like, "High five, Kelly," and then he'd wait, and then she'd be like,
oh, I love it.
"Yeah."
I love it.
Well, is there anything else you have like coming up that you want to plug or let people know about?
Yeah, I'm pretty much just all Naughty Fit all the time right now. But
Okay.
I started in December doing selling these hats. So these
Oh yeah, I
Naughty
like
Fit
those.
hats with the logos. I'll send you guys some.
Oh, that'd be cool.
But yeah,
Chase wears his.
all the proceeds are going to feed my starving children. So it's been that's been cool. Over the holidays, we raised enough money to feed a family for an entire year. And that link is still on my Instagram. So if people are interested in these, they can find those on my Instagram page. And I've got plenty of, hopefully, new capacity to help more folks here in the first quarter of the year. So if anybody's interested in Naughty Fit, reach out to me via Instagram is still the best,
Awesome.
especially now that, we're losing social media platforms left and right.
Yes, exactly. Well, we'll put the link to your Instagram and any other links that you want in our show notes so people can find you. Well,
Beautiful.
we really appreciate your time. Thanks for chatting with us. Today we'll be discussing Below Deck Sailing Yacht Season 5, Episode 15, Past the Boiling Point.
Here's your recap. Captain Glenn lays down the law with the crew after not following his rules. Danny admits she lied to Chase, which causes a divide between them. And a group of ladies arrive with lots of dietary restrictions for the final charter of the season. Final charter!
I know. Already.
My goodness. All right, Sarah, how many shackles do you give this one?
I gave it 7. It was entertaining, but I feel like it was kind of a wrap up from the last episode, and it was setting up things for the finale. So,
Yeah.
it was
It was
fine.
good, though. I liked it.
Yes. So at the beginning, we jump right back in where Glenn is talking to Chase, Daisy, Gary, and Keith and the Master. And Glenn tells Gary, look, no one told you had to drink, Gary, because that's his big argument. Like, he had to. The guests wanted him to. And Gary just continues to argue with him. I know I said it last week, but this was so shocking to me how Gary talked back to Glenn. And in the end, Glenn docks each of them $500 in tip money for not following the rules. And I was thinking, this is pretty generous considering Glenn warned them ahead of time that they would have 0 tip if they didn't follow the rules.
Yeah. And I agree with you. This was really shocking. So Gary was so upset with Glenn. Mm-hmm. And then he just stomped away saying he didn't want to see him anymore. So not only is he out $500, which is very gracious, like you said, he's hungover and he's tired. And the only thing we can predict is he is going to take it out on everyone. And that is not good.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so they have the tip meeting. Glenn points out that they have just one more charter. The tip was $23K, really good.
Yeah.
And Gary, Daisy, and Keith get $500 less, since they didn't follow the rules.
Do we know what happens with that extra $1,500?
Well, I'm glad that you brought that up. We're going to talk about that in Hot Tub Convo because we do have a little bit of tea on that.
Okay.
So Chase has to hang off the back of the boat to work on something, and Gary thinks Chase needs to be attached to the halyard, whatever the heck that is. And Chase thinks he can do it by just like tying on to the, I don't know, railing back there. And Gary, he's just like, fine, whatever, dude. And he goes and he tells Glenn. Glenn goes marching out there and tells Chase, like, you have to listen to Gary. And then, of course, Chase is upset that Gary went to Glenn, and Gary tells Chase, you're all the time not listening to me. And then, of course, they play several clips of that happening.
They had receipts.
This is really, he had receipts. This is the first time that Chase has really spoken his mind to Gary this season. He's been kind of trying to fly under the radar. So whose side are you on, Kelli, in this argument?
It's hard because I see both sides. However, I don't like how quickly Gary runs to Glenn whenever Chase isn't doing what he's been told to do. Like, it's weird. I would feel like as a manager, you should be able to tell, the people who report to you yourself, like, hey, listen, this is how we're going to do it. And you will do it this way, or I'll get Keith to do it. I mean, I don't know, why Keith couldn't do it, but Chase should listen to Gary. And in the same respect, Gary should listen to Chase, just hear him out and then say, okay, maybe next time, this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah. And I mean, Gary did tell Chase himself, like he did try, and then he got, some pushback. I am Team Gary in this situation.
Okay.
I have to say.
Yeah.
You got to respect the hierarchy.
Absolutely.
Gary has been, yes, Chase has 1 season under his belt on this boat, but Gary has many seasons, not just with Below Deck.
4?
Yeah, 4, and then other seasons of just working on Parsifal. So
Yeah.
he knows the way stuff is done on this boat. So just listen to him. So,
Right.
I mean, Chase he's a little bullheaded, He just, he is. He is. Okay. So preference sheet meeting. We have ML from DC. She is bringing a bunch of girlfriends and they want to have an around the world dinner. But there are a lot of dietary restrictions, like some serious allergies, some of them.
Sarah, food allergies are just so scary. I don't remember them being around as much when we were growing up, or like when we were even in college. I mean, I didn't know what an EpiPen was until, I
Yeah,
was well out of college and had a kid myself. So it's just interesting. I hope everything will work out okay.
I know. I mean, Cloyce is going to have his it's going to be a challenge for him.
Yeah.
So the crew goes out except for Cloyce, who he's going to stay back and just try and figure out what the heck to put on these menus for these people with all these restrictions.
Such a smart idea. He really needs to focus because there's so many specifics and it's oh, I can't even imagine. Like I think I would have to have like a board with a picture of everybody and here's what you're going to get and oh.
Yeah, well, they kind of do.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
on the night out, did you notice that the crew is just like kind of over each other at this point?
Yes. They're like
They're like, the last thing we want to do is hang out with each other at this point.
they're done.
So because of that, the night is pretty low key.
Yes.
And meanwhile, Glenn continues the saga of Maria and Esteban back on the boat.
It's the best.
Maria, Maria.
Esteban.
Okay. So Chase and Danny are making out like right there at the table with everyone, and Daisy is uncomfortable with the PDA.
And then Gary just had to throw out the what happened to Anthony or Antony just to make the evening just a smidge more uncomfortable.
More uncomfortable and just a little more interesting.
Yes.
So back to the boat. Davide joins Glenn, who is watching something about UFOs now. And Davide says, well, like, what episode or where are you at? And he's like, well, there's 5 minutes left. And Davide says, well, come on, start another one then. So I guess they're going to, like, watch it together.
I loved it. It was fun. I think that's the first time we've seen that kind of interaction with the captain, and especially in the bunk.
Oh, well, they talked about the toothbrush and how their toothbrush heads might be interchangeable. There was that.
That way. That's right. That's right. What the heck are non-human biologics?
Okay. I really have no idea, but what I am picturing is like alien poop.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking like slime or ooze. So,
Okay. Someone
the same, right?
who's in that UFO realm,
Right.
conspiracy theories, like get back to us. What the heck are non-human biologics? Because I don't think
Yes,
I'm
please.
correct. Okay, so Danny and Chase are off to the master again, and Daisy and Keith are being very flirty. He gives her a little kiss goodnight right outside the
sweet.
door. We get a little handhold between Gary and Daisy again. They had a tough day.
Yeah. So Danny and Chase, it sounded like they were doing acrobatics. And they very well could have been. I don't know.
It could have been. Yeah.
Daisy and Keith are just, they're too cute. And he is so sweet to her. And he just gives her a kiss and he tells her good night. And then that's where they leave it. I don't know. It's like they're courting or something. It's cute.
It's very cute.
Gary does tell Daisy again, he thinks Keith is a good guy.
Okay,
And
dude.
he says, I approve, Days. I approve.
Okay, Gary, whatever.
Yeah.
Until tomorrow when he tries to like break them apart again. We'll see. So Danny decides she's going to tell Chase that she dropped anchor with Antony and she lied about it before.
Okay.
And he says he doesn't care about her sexual history, but he isn't happy about the lie. Like right
Yeah.
off the bat. That's a big one. And he's still mad the next morning. And so it's pretty tense.
And he's not talking to her. He's stepping out of the way when she walks down the hallway. I mean, I could see where Chase is coming from because if she didn't tell the full truth on this, what else is she not doing?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So Gary apologizes to Glenn for being such a D the day before.
Yeah.
And Glenn forgives him and they hug it out.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, if it
All
works
right.
for them, I guess. I don't know. Like,
Yeah. Like Chase was saying when he was on the pod and Kathleen was saying, that would have been like a fireable offense for them as a captain. Like, that was bad.
yeah.
Okay. So the guests arrive. They seem nice, but there seems to be some kind of tension between a couple of the ladies.
Did you pick that up?
Yeah, somebody
kind of
said
like-
if she starts down that rabbit hole, like I'm gonna have like I don't know what they were talking about, but I think there was some trouble already brewing before they got on the boat.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah. Okay, it's time to go sailing. Stuff is sliding. The guests are loving it. They say it's magical.
So one of the guests says while they're when they start sailing, they're like, "We're sailing," and all I could think of was the clip from What About Bob? Have you seen that?
Yeah, I have.
I'm sailing, and he's like tied to the mast and like all the life jackets on. But that's all I could think of. I'm
Yeah. Doesn't he
sailing.
say, I'm a sailor, I sail?
Yeah. Oh, the 90s, those were good movies. Okay.
Yeah, that was like the golden age of movies for our generation, I think.
That's right.
Okay, it's time for the Around the World dinner. Chloe says the theme is him trying to figure out what in the world you can actually eat. I love his green screens. He's
so
really
good.
good. Yeah. He's doing great with all the restrictions. They're really impressed. They're loving the food.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
The fact that they have EpiPens, that's not just like I don't like it because it makes my tummy hurt.
Right,
No, it
exactly.
cannot have.
Gary and Daisy have a smoke break up on the bow, and he asks again if she kissed Keith the night before, how many times, and Daisy is annoyed that he keeps asking, for details, private details, and
Yeah.
I bet she cannot wait to get off the boat with Keith, away from Gary, away from the camera, so they can like really see what this is.
Gary doesn't like to share.
No.
He wants her to himself.
Yep,
And
and he
he
doesn't
just-
want
It just
anyone
doesn't
else to
want
have
it.
her.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's
sad.
not cool. So Chase talks to Danny about kind of where they have left things, kind of suggests, we can just be friends. And she says she doesn't want to talk about it right now. Okay.
All right.
The next day, Gary demonstrates the rope swing, and then the ladies are all swinging and swimming. They looked great.
They are so brave. They were
Yeah.
having fun. I loved it. They're having a
Yeah.
good time.
It was fun. I'm always afraid that they're going to like do a belly flop or, make them look really bad, but they all looked very graceful. They did a great job.
Nobody, though, looked as graceful as the guests in the last charter. I don't know who that was, but
I
they
know.
dropped like a perfect ballerina pirouette straight into the water. It was
Totally.
beautiful.
Deanna cannot tell the guests apart. She's like, 3 of them have brown hair. Like, I
Oh,
don't
no.
know. And she's unsure of who gets what breakfast when she's bringing the food out. And I was thinking, Cloyce, like, you got to get up there. Like, this
Yeah.
girl is blowing it. When he does finally come up, they tell him they would like to know before the food is placed in front of them, like, what everything is. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess fair enough.
Yeah. It is important. I think, it would be one thing if it was food they didn't like, right?
Yeah.
But so there are some things that can make others very sick, and we just don't know how severe it is. And you're in the middle of the Med.
Where are we?
Where are we right now? It's not a time to not know what food you are putting down in front of them. And this is why
Yeah.
Daisy always serves.
Yeah, good point. So Danny tells Chase that they need to talk later because she thinks he has not been completely honest with her. Wait, what?
What?
I was thinking, is this some gaslighting here? Like, you're the problem, it's not me. It turns out she's talking about Chef Elisha from last charter season. And that's where the episode ends, with no resolve between those two.
Oh, Lord. So Chase is trying to keep them from having this it's an important chat that they need to have because he's in the middle of his portion of the charter with the guests and he needs to keep his focus on them.
Yeah.
But she wants to have it now. So he's trying to like keep an eye on them, keep an eye on her, have a conversation. Oh, Sarah.
Yeah.
It's exhausting.
Yeah. I mean, I get why he didn't want to talk. Like, you need to kind of have compartmentalization, like when it comes to your job and like these emotional talks. Also, why is this so emotional? Like, they've known each other like a week or two, Like, let's talk.
Sarah.
Like, where is this going?
They've known each other for days.
Yeah,
Okay?
exactly.
Days.
Yeah, but as we know, relationships move quite quickly
Yes.
in the yachting world. So next episode is the finale. So it looks like there's only going to be 16 episodes this season. in
Oh.
recent seasons we've had 17. So
Yeah.
I guess that's all they came up with for us. So
All right. I guess we'll have
that's
to
it.
take it.
Yeah. Well, let's take a break and we'll come back for the Traitors segment and Hot Tub Convo. We are sponsored by Coconut Bowls. Coconut Bowls reduces the use of single-use plastics by sourcing sustainable coconut shells while providing jobs to low-income artisans in Vietnam and Indonesia.
From beautiful coconut bowls to bamboo cups, straws, and cutlery, Coconut Bowls has eco-friendly, handcrafted items to complete your sustainable kitchen. Each bowl is made from 100% natural coconuts with a unique size, shape, and pattern. Join the Coconut Bowls movement today and eat sustainably.
Go to coconutbowls.com and use discount code ABOVEDECKPOD, all one word, for 10% off your order.
We're back. It's time to discuss the Traitors.
Okay, spoiler warning. We will be discussing episode 4 of The Traitors. You've been warned.
Okay, I just want to point out the music on this show is very Love is Blind. You know, it's like a sing-song
Yes.
explanation of what. of what-
Take your time. Don't die.
Ooh, water, hold on. Okay. Ooh. The music on this show, it's very Love is Blind. It's like a sing-song explanation of what's going on in the scene at that moment.
Yeah. We're putting you in a coffin now. Pounding the nails in. No, I'm just kidding. So it turns out Gabby did hear Danielle's voice coming from the bookcase, as we suspected. And
Yep.
she thinks that Danielle, that could mean she's a traitor. And so she wants to get the heck out of there because she doesn't want Danielle to like catch her overhearing
Right.
and, you know, murder her. Dylan comes in and he finds the bookcase open. And I was thinking, dope, why didn't they close the bookcase? Who was the last one out? He is like walking around and he just can tell something is different in the
His
room.
fighting senses are going off.
Yeah.
And you know, Danielle's like,
I know
her
she
amazing
didn't really
acting
say
skills.
anything. She was just like, yeah, let me help you like look around.
It's too funny.
I mean, I guess if he had found the coffin and like opened it, he would have seen the names that they wrote, right, of the 3 players. So
Yeah, but I mean, they didn't see who wrote them.
yeah.
Or if anybody, I mean, they don't know how they got there, I guess.
Yeah, good point. But
Yeah.
people knew there was something up, something was happening. So 3 faithfuls are chosen for the coffins: Sarah, Jeremy, and Nikki. And I was wondering why they didn't put a traitor in there just to kind of throw things off. But I think Boston Rob was exactly right because the other 2 that aren't murdered are automatically going to be suspects.
Yeah.
So that was smart.
Yeah.
I was worried that Bob, the drag queen, or Danielle would open their big mouth when they and like give themselves away when they were putting the nails in the coffin, you know, because you had to be really quiet because 2 of those people are not going to get murdered. So like they're listening, you know?
Right. Rob is really good at these games. I don't know why I'm so surprised, but I've never seen him in his
Right.
element. So, I mean, I would have never thought of that.
Yeah.
Having, you know, everybody think that the other 2 in the are, I don't know.
Yeah, you can't really go with the most obvious thing that you think of right away. You have to like
Yeah.
think further past that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
anyway, I do want to watch Survivor with him. I know I said that last week, but whenever I do, I will report back like
Okay.
some
That's great.
Boston Rob T, and it has nothing to do with the fact that I think he's kind of hot. Okay, so Jeremy is murdered. And remember, he had like brought up Danielle maybe as a possibility of a traitor. So I'm curious if any of the faithfuls will remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, when Alan left at some point during the show, he said, "Cheery bye."
I loved his outfits this time.
Yeah, he has
He's
some
my
good
favorite.
ones. Okay, Tom Sandoval thinks that Sierra might have gotten recruited somehow during
Oh
this.
yes, Tom Sandoval. God, he drives
Well,
me
he's right about
bonkers.
everything.
Right,
He
right. He's
just,
so in tune to like the vibe and everything.
yeah,
Um,
God, he is so funny to watch on this, I have to say.
yeah, so is it oh, okay, so at breakfast, okay.
Yeah.
So Robin is one of the first ones in there. Robin and Gabby and I think Chriselle.
Okay.
They're in there chatting. Oh, and Dolores, and they're
Yeah.
wondering. Robin thinks that the traitors are in the coffins, right?
Hmm.
So then Gabby just flat out outs Danielle. She's like, "I think I saw Danielle coming out. I don't know."
Yeah. She
And
had to
so
tell
everybody's
somebody.
like, "Oh yeah, that's totally right." And then they start asking everybody as they were coming
Hmm.
in, like, okay, well, who came out of the bookcase? And then everybody's like, oh, I
Yeah.
went to the bookcase. I was at the bookcase. And then
Yeah.
Danielle and Bob, the drag queen, I was like, or no, more Bob. I was like, shut up, shishy.
I know.
Just,
Yeah.
you don't need to say anything.
Right. Yeah.
He a
Just
mess.
keep your, yeah, he is a mess. Well, we have this challenge where they have to like carry those things up the hill. I felt
Yeah.
so sad for Bob Harper at that challenge. Remember, he had a heart attack
Yeah.
several years ago, and
Yeah.
he's not a spring chicken anymore.
No. But I was scared
And
because he was walking like this
I
with his hand on his
know,
chest.
I know, but I just felt sad for him. He's used to being able to do something like that. And like,
Yeah.
10, 15, 20 years ago, he would have been like a real asset for that challenge.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned like this is like Stonehenge. I think they meant Easter Island, right?
Same difference. I mean, we all knew what they were talking about, right?
Yeah, I
Maybe.
mean, some kind of large stones. Okay, got it. Okay, so Bob the drag queen throws Rob under the bus after the challenge by suggesting that maybe one of the new guys could be a traitor.
What is he doing?
I don't know. I mean,
He's going rogue and he needs to bring it
yeah,
back.
he's totally going rogue. And yeah, I think it's just that one thing that sets Rob on his like mission to get rid of him, don't you think? Because Rob says you come for one of us, like you're coming for all of us. So
Yeah. No, I think I mean, when he started going around and recruiting everybody when they got back to the house, I was like, this is it. And then Dylan got so excited.
yeah,
He was like,
Dylan was like,
tonight, we're going to do
finally.
this tonight.
Yes. So Rob sets about convincing everyone to vote for Bob at the round table. And Dylan, as you just said, he already suspects it. And so he thankful and you could tell Rob wanted somebody else that he had like kind of recruited to bring up
Yeah.
Bob. He didn't want it to have to be him.
Yeah.
But it was talk was going on and on and on. And he finally had to be like, okay, I've got to say something. So that was very dramatic.
I loved it though. I
I did
loved it
too.
because people were just like, oh,
It
okay,
was a
wait a minute.
very exciting round table.
Yeah.
So, and Bob is completely blindsided. Like he had no idea. He even said, like in his green screen or whatever, he was like, "I'm feeling pretty good going into this round table. Like no one's talking about me."
Wah, wah,
Ooh,
wah.
I mean, how quickly things can change.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Bob is banished. His goodbye speech was so dramatic,
Of course it
and
was.
when he said he was a traitor, people actually fell out of their chairs. Like they were so excited to have gotten a traitor out. And he
Yeah.
was like, I swore to God, you guys. Oh, it was so good. I mean,
So good. I
yeah,
love
it
it.
would be hard to come up with something to say in that moment, but everybody says something different and they're almost always very dramatic. So,
Yeah. I did like this round table for multiple reasons, but
yeah.
I liked the camera. Like it was like people were watching a tennis match with their head turned,
Yeah.
watching each person talk. It was perfect. It was
Yeah.
just, that's what you expect out of a round table.
Definitely. So Boston Rob plans to become BFFs with Dylan because he's going to take him to the end and then murder him.
Oh, don't murder him. I love it.
I
Okay.
think Dylan's going to figure it out though.
I think so. He's a smart kid.
Yeah. So he just can't play his hand too soon. So this is going to be interesting.
So I
So,
wanted to say something to Danielle while she was at the table. Did you notice she was wearing gloves?
no, I didn't.
Okay, so she was wearing gloves. And in Disney movies, villains always wear gloves.
I didn't know
She needs to take her
that.
gloves off.
Okay.
Saying.
Interesting. Okay. Well, in another room after this, there's a small group that's discussing that there is one way that you know if someone is a traitor, 100%.
How is that for
100%.
what? How is
And
that?
that's is if you are also a traitor.
Yeah.
Juicy.
This is going
Very.
to come back to bite Rob, I think.
I think so too. I
But I
don't
think
want it to,
right.
but I think it probably will.
I think he's going to have enough backup, though, to turn it on to somebody else. So it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So,
we'll see. I mean, it's getting so good. Did your mom watch this one too?
no, because I watched it during my lunch break at work.
Oh, rats. Okay.
So we might
Well,
have
I'll
to
be
do a little
curious to
catch up
see.
watching with her. And we'll watch 5 this weekend, too.
Sounds good. Would she ever want to come on the pod and talk about it?
I don't know. We'll have to
Okay. Well,
see. Maybe.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's time for Hot Tub Convo, where we discuss what's happening with our favorite Below Deck cast members.
So we have a comment about this episode from at bravo.lytics. By the way, this is a great account to follow on
Yes.
Instagram. I don't know why it doesn't have like 20,000 followers. And I don't know anything about them. I'm like, I would like to know. So anyway, they write, this episode was a mess. Also, I lost some respect for Glenn. His friendship with Gary is getting in the way. Finally, where did that extra tip money go? The math didn't add up to it being redistributed to the non-drinkers. I think my rant is over. It would never occur to me to like do the math and see.
Yeah.
Well, Danny also like posted on this and answered them and confirmed that the non-drinkers never saw any of that extra money. So I don't know what happened to that extra money, but it did not get redistributed.
I bet Captain Glenn has re-upped his Discovery Plus subscription in Nat
Yeah.
Geo, so he can stay, and Telemundo. So he's good.
Telemundo. Okay. Yeah,
That's
that
what it was.
sounds good. What did you think about what they said about losing respect for Glenn? Like, do you think he gives Gary a lot more leeway because of their long-term like friendship and working together?
I think so, but I mean, I don't
He
know.
is
It
good
would
at
be
his
hard because they
job.
have worked together for so long.
Yeah.
So I don't
Yeah.
know.
So, I mean, if he gets rid of Gary, he has to train somebody else. So,
Then he has to let Chase do it because Chase is the only other one that knows how to do the boat.
right, exactly. So, anyway. Oh, sorry, I didn't finish. Oh, we
No,
have
no.
one more comment from a listener. Life of a Farmer's Daughter wrote, that was a really good tip from the guests, but I felt that the 4 who went out should have had to stay in. So she thought, they shouldn't have gone out. I mean, that would have
I
been
mean,
also a good punishment, I guess.
yeah. I guess it's kind of hard though because they're grown-ups. I don't know.
Right, yeah. That's a
I
good
mean,
point.
you know, you're staying in like I am. Like
Yeah.
so Keith was on Watch What Happens Live this week with the stand-up comedian Mecky Leeper from Jury Duty and Sex Lives of Jury Duty, like the Pauly Shore movie Jury Duty?
No, I think this is something new.
Okay. Because I saw
Newer.
this person and I was like, and as I'm thinking, I'm like, they're not that old. Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
So Mecky is a huge fan of Below Deck, and Keith said Chase was out of line and how he talked to Gary about working aloft. Keith said he and Daisy made plans for after the season. Okay, Sarah,
Yeah.
she was in New York at the same time he was in New York.
I
That's all I'm going to
know.
say.
Several people have pointed this out. I mean, wouldn't this just be the icing on the cake of
Oh,
this season? If they have kept their relationship a secret this whole time, I would
so
just
good.
I would
So
just
good.
absolutely love that. That would be so exciting.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah, they haven't posted one like picture together or like let
This is
anything
the back of
slip.
my boyfriend. This is the back of my girlfriend, or like her
Uh-huh.
hand, or anything. Yeah. Oh,
Not
that would
a
make me
thing.
so happy. Make it so.
So, make it so. So Chase got back to his sailboat in Grenada, and I just want to say, check out his YouTube channel, Chasing Grace. He shared an update on there with, and let me just say, his plans have changed, like even since last week when he was on our podcast.
Yeah.
So he has alternative plans, and he's going to be back in Charleston. Anyway, there's some exciting things happening. I don't want to give it all away. You should go watch his update. Also in April, he's going to be on a boat with Glenn at the Odyssey Sailing Festival in the British Virgin Islands. And
Well, that'll
he
be
said
fun.
their boat is full, but there's still a lot of other boats that have spots. I think this would be a really fun thing to do at some point. So check it out.
It's a good idea.
Well, that's it for this week's episode of Above Deck. Thank you to our team at Hurrdat. Thank you to our producer, Joss. Please subscribe on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to tell a friend, and please rate and review us 5 stars only.
Please follow us on Instagram at AboveDeckPod, and you can email us at abovedeckpod@gmail.com. You can always watch our episodes on the Hurrdat Entertainment YouTube channel. Until next time, I'm Kelli Busby.
And I'm Sarah Goldman. We'll see you next week.